Namaste, guys. ChristianRLong, Life Enhancement Consulting. Give you a big and beautiful shout out on this Monday evening, 5:30 p.m. Mountain Time here in Denver, Colorado. And today is celebrating Martin Luther King's Day, a great proponent of peace, tolerance, understanding, and character. And I thought, well, what better topic to talk about than character building for today? Angela, Atma Namaste, always coming on, bringing the heat and sharing that heat with other people. Thank you very much. Super, super grateful. So what is really fascinating about character building is it's so obvious. It's so self-evident. We see it and recognize it. Yana, Atma Namaste. We see it and recognize it with other people. We admire those qualities in other people, right? We know good character from bad character, but a lot of us have such a hard time practicing good character. And so I remember when I first got on the spiritual path in 1999 with transcendental meditation. At that time, for me, living a spiritual life was not based on character. For me, living a spiritual life was, how can I meditate as long Avani, Atma Namaste. How can I meditate as long and as often as possible to quote unquote generate and radiate world peace within myself out to everybody else? For me, that was spirituality. I never reflected on character building. Now, within yoga, character building is known as the yamas and niyamas, the doings and the non-doings. So likewise, in pranic healing, that was taught to me by my teacher, Grandmaster Chola Koksui, many, many years ago, we have character building within pranic healing. Now, why is character building so important? Because it builds the entire foundation of your physical life, your personal life, your professional life, and your spiritual life. Because with good character, like a foundation, you can build a very high building or even skyscraper. With a very weak, small, messed up foundation, we can't build something very, very high. Does that make sense? So the 5 virtues that we work on in pranic healing, and you might want to make a note of them. You can look them up online. You can read about them in greater detail. There's actually a book called Compassionate Objectivity that my teacher, Grandmaster Chola Koksui, wrote. This little itty-bitty tiny book that has priceless teachings contained within it that go into greater detail when it comes to character building. And so the characters, the 5 character traits or character, the virtues that we build within pranic healing are loving kindness and non-injury, generosity and non-stealing, accurate perception, correct expression, also connected to honesty and non-lying. That's a subset of that virtue. Constancy of aim and effort and non-laziness, and moderation and non-excessiveness. Those are the 5 main virtues that we practice within pranic healing. And there's a 6th one that you might know it as the golden rule. The golden rule, which is said in the Christian tradition or the Christian religion, do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. Now, the interesting thing about the golden rule is that there's a yang aspect of the golden rule and a yin aspect to the golden rule. So the yang aspect is do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. So if you want to be treated fairly, treat other people fairly. If you want people to be kind to you, treat other people with kindness. If you want people to be prosperous and generous and giving towards you, be prosperous, generous, and giving towards other people, right? So that's the yang. The yang is the doing of the virtue. The yin is the non-doing. So the yin golden rule is do not do unto others as you would not want them to do unto you. So if you don't want to be stolen from, don't steal from other people. If you don't want to, if you don't want to have physical injury caused to you, don't cause physical injury to other people, right? It's very, very simple. Again, as we said earlier with the stream, character building is so obvious. But so often, as we grow up and mature and evolve, we kind of get, picky and choosy with our virtues, right? And so one of the most famous speeches ever done, a speech on peace, was given the I Have a Dream speech by Dr. Martin Luther King. And in it, he talks about we should not be judged on the color of our skin, right? But the content of our character, right? The content of our character. So one of my mentors said something to me interesting a few weeks ago, that it's not about men and women. It's not about this gender or that gender. It's not about this skin color or that color. It's that color. It's not about any of the differences that we see in our plethora of options and differences within the human species. It's not about the differences that we should be paying attention to. It should be the character of the individual. Is that individual a person of goodwill and the will to do good? It doesn't matter what their sexual orientation is. It doesn't matter what their race is. It doesn't matter where they were brought up. It doesn't matter how much money they have or how much money they don't have. None of those things matter in relationship to, is the person a good person? Does the person have character building qualities? Right? And there's some interesting phenomenon, and I'm just as guilty of this as probably you are, maybe more so. But it's interesting, in our society, we have this assumption that if somebody has money, if somebody built a successful business, if somebody has a tremendous amount of prosperity, it means that that person is virtuous in every area of their life. That's why you see a lot of teenagers and people in their 20s and even 30s and 40s that are trying to emulate and model somebody who made it big in business. But what they don't know is the behind the scenes of how that person got into the position that they got into. Now, I'm not saying that somebody who is successful means that they stepped on the backs of other people to get to that point of their life. I'm saying just because somebody is materially and financially prosperous, abundant, and successful does not mean that the person is virtuous. Similarly, just because somebody, quote unquote, follows the spiritual path, or as I like to call it, pseudo-spirituality, and they occasionally pray, they occasionally go to church, they occasionally do a feeding program, that also does not mean that that person is virtuous and without flaw and infallible, right? Nobody is 100% good and nobody is 100% bad. You want to look at the character of the individual. Does that person embody virtue? Now, of the 5 virtues that we just mentioned in pranic healing, relating it to the virtue of constancy of aim and effort and non-laziness, somebody who is very, very successful in business, wouldn't you agree that that person has mastered that virtue of constancy of aim and effort and non-laziness? Meaning they had a vision for their business, they worked tirelessly, relentlessly, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, without any and all vacations, to focus on the objective of being successful in their marketplace or dominating their marketplace. Jeff Bezos, the founder and CEO of Amazon, would be, would be an embodiment of the virtue of constancy of aim and effort and non-laziness. And here's a little thing that you guys may not know. If you go to Google and you go to the search bar and you type in, actually go to the search bar, not necessarily Google, and you type in relentless.com, you're going to notice an interesting website comes up. Don't worry, it's suitable for work. Type in relentless.com and see what you see come up on your browser. Right? Kate, namaste. Good to have you back on. So Jeff Bezos, the CEO and founder of Amazon, had mastered the quality or the virtue of constancy of aim and effort and non-laziness. Now, does that mean he's an overall virtuous person? Well, we don't know, because there's the other virtues of loving kindness and non-injury, generosity and non-stealing, accurate perception and correct expression, moderation and non-excessiveness. Think about it. He had mastered constancy of aim and effort and non-laziness. Do you think he has mastered moderation and non-excessiveness when it comes to productivity, efficiency, effectiveness, work schedule, right? He probably works himself 18, 19, 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. Is that moderation and non-excessiveness, right? It's interesting because that virtue of the 5 virtues we discussed, moderation and non-excessiveness, harmonizes the other virtues to make you into a overall well-rounded human being, right? To make you an overall well-rounded human being. I'll give you another example about just because you've mastered one virtue doesn't mean you've mastered all the virtues. So another virtue would be honesty and non-lying. Honesty and non-lying, meaning somebody is very good at seeing a situation clearly, seeing themselves clearly connected to that relationship, and clearly to how other people are connected to that situation, right? That requires a tremendous amount of self-honesty. To practice accurate perception and correct expression, meaning to see something clearly and then to correctly express that clarity, requires a tremendous amount of humility, honesty towards oneself and others. Why? Because it deals with perception. When you alter the perception of other people, whether good or bad, what happens? Your perception is altered. If you lie to people, you'll be lied to, right? We talked about the golden rule. If you're honest with people, people will be honest with you. But how many of us have gone to a friend, a family member, a colleague and say, hey, just give me the honest truth. Tell it to me like it is. And they give you the honest, razor-sharp, cutting energy of truthfulness, and it hurts tremendously. It's true, it's accurate, but it doesn't feel good. And what does that typically do to us when we hear the honest, hard truth? It takes a hit to our self-esteem and our self-image, right? So Grandmaster Chogo Koksui says, in the times of choosing between the virtue of honesty and non-lying and the virtue of loving kindness and non-injury, when there's a debate, you always choose loving kindness and non-injury over honesty and non-lying, meaning you coat the truth with love. You coat the truth with softness, with sweetness. So A, it doesn't hurt the person as much, and B, it allows them to absorb the energies of the truth, right? Because if somebody's telling us the truth, but we don't want to hear it, there's a tendency to what? To push it away and to resist it. Now, should this be the case in all examples? It depends. It depends, because there are some people who are what? Super hard-headed. Super hard-headed. So you can tell them the truth lovingly, it doesn't go in. You can tell them the truth with patience and kindness, and it doesn't go in. So there are times that you need to use the sledgehammer approach to crack the shell of their misconceptions, their misunderstandings, their inability to see truth as it is. It's actually interesting, as a side note, some of you may be familiar with the Hindu god, Lord Hanuman. Lord Hanuman. And he's known as the monkey god, and he's known as the greatest disciple or student of all time. And Hanuman means broken jaw. Hanuman means broken jaw. Why is this connected to honesty? Because the throat chakra deals with knowledge, right? The throat chakra deals with knowledge. So we read a book, the throat chakra becomes activated, absorbs that knowledge. We listen to a podcast or a live stream like we're doing, you're absorbing it into the throat and you're processing it. You attend a weekend seminar, a retreat, a meditation event, whatever, you're absorbing the knowledge of that event through the throat chakra. What happens is, when people become more and more and more knowledgeable, they have a tendency to think that they know it all, right? They become quote-unquote know-it-alls, and then they have calcified thought forms and beliefs about how the world is or should be in their opinion, right? So what does that mean? Their cup is full, they stop listening, they stop taking they stop taking new feedback, right? And they become set in their ways, they become inflexible. So if the throat chakra is connected to pride and the person has inflexibility of learning new things and having their old beliefs and paradigms challenged, what must happen? The old beliefs, the old calcified thought forms must be shattered or broken. Lord Hanuman, throat chakra, jaw, broken jaw. It's a how to say this? It's an example and metaphor for humility, right? So how many of us have been at a point in our lives that we feel that we are brought down to our knees in something, whether a terminal disease, whether losing a job, whether file bankruptcy, whether getting into a car accident, whether having a relationship end unexpectedly, right? We were prideful. We thought we knew everything. We thought we had it all figured out, right? And then that thought form, that pride, was preventing us from seeing something clearly and accurately to moving to the next level and stage of development in our lives. So the great teachers, the lords of karma, provided us a tremendous opportunity to have our negative pride destroyed, broken, humbled us to our knees, which makes us what? More receptive, more open to new ideas, new paradigms, new ways of being, new transformation. Denise, Atma Namaste. Does that make sense? So it's extremely powerful to recognize the teachings of Lord Hanuman, the greatest disciple, the disciple with the most humility, the student of the broken jaw, who is humbled at the feet of his teacher, Lord Rama. So that's kind of what I want to cover for you guys tonight, really quick. This was a quick stream, connecting it to, it's not about the color of somebody's skin, but about the content of their character. And character takes time to build. It takes time to build. And I thought, when I was growing up in the spiritual path 20 years ago, I had no idea that yamas and niyamas, or character building or virtues, were important. I thought, yeah, you just sit around, you do physical yoga, you meditate, you chant some mantras, and you become a better person, and you become a saint, and you transform the lives of millions of people around the world. Isn't that how it works? And then through the blessings and mercy of my teacher, Grandmaster Chogo Koksui, he taught me about character building and how unbelievably important it is. Because as you continue to evolve and move up the spiritual ladder, if you will, more energy is being given to you, right? With great power comes great responsibility. So if you are not developing your character along the way, there's going to come a time in your life, Philip, Atma Namaste, there's going to come a time in your life that, due to inaccurate perception, incorrect expression, negative pride, seeds of anger, greed, bitterness, whatever, there's going to come a fall. Now the question is, would you want to fall from a footstool, or would you want to fall from a building? Right? There are some people in this world who became very successful very quickly with a lot of influence, but they didn't work on their character, right? They didn't work on their virtue, and then they what? They fell, and their lives never recovered. Their lives, their families' lives, and the lives of the people who were most connected to them never recovered, right? So we always want to keep our negative pride in check, continue practicing humility, continue developing our virtue on a daily basis, not on a quarterly or yearly basis, but on a daily basis, working on becoming a better person through looking at our own lives, looking at the five character, the five virtues we talked about in pranic healing, with the sixth one being the golden rule, the yang golden rule, the doing, and the yin golden rule, the not doing. So I hope that helps. If I can assist you in the process of becoming a better person, I'm not perfect, but I've definitely come a long way in 20 years, and I love inspiring and helping other people along their spiritual path that will not just improve their spiritual lives, but also improve their relationships, improve their finances, improve their personal and professional lives, because character building is the when we are practicing character building, we are shining the qualities of the soul to the world. So, if I can help you, go to ChristianRLong.com. It's my name. It's my website. You can schedule a healing session right there on the website, and then I get it in my phone, my calendar, and we have our conversation, and we do a shift for you. So thank you very, very much. Enjoy the rest of your holiday if you're in the United States. I'm pretty sure only the United States is celebrating today as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. But wherever you are in the world, may God and my teacher, Grandmaster Cho Koksui, bless each and every one of you. May your heart's desires be fulfilled. Alam, you like this? Yeah, I got this at a pranic healing retreat, or Hatha yoga retreat, back in the dizzy. So love you guys very, very much. This is Christian Long, life enhancement consultant, wishing you a beautiful day, a beautiful holiday, a beautiful week, and a beautiful life. Atma, namaste. Bye-bye.